And we're singing. We're singing. Dun, 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 dun. Time to talk. Beauty and the Bitch.
Yeah. Welcome back, beautiful friendlies, to another episode of Beauty and the Bitch. My name is Mick. Ya boy!
And I'm Morgan, ya boy! Which sounds like it's our new, Asian-inspired last name. We're Asian gangster.
Ya boy!
Ya boy. We are the ya boys. Oh my god, we're so racist.
You're racist. I'm a sweetheart. I'm America's sweetheart. We would like to welcome you back to Harry Potter number 5, part 2.
Part 2. We hope you loved part 1. Of course, we had the lovely Ashley on to bring us with the jokes and the info. Mm-hmm. And she's back again for part 2, babies.
What?
Yes, girl.
I thought after part 1, because she dislikes you so much, she would never come back.
Sure. And honestly, we usually kill our guests after we're done with them. That's why they can only ever come on one episode. But we made an exception.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I already have so many skin suits hanging up in my closet from all of our past guests.
Didn't need hers.
No, I really don't need hers. Also, she's shorter than me. All of her skin would cover my shin.
You would never fit inside.
No!
It really just be a waste of your time.
Yeah.
And now she gets to keep her skin, so I guess that's a win for her. Some might say.
I think you could fit into her skin.
Oh, let's get her back.
Yes!
So, we'll be cutting all of that.
No, we will not cut that.
Oh, well,
that's prime patter.
The federal government listens.
Comes from my skin suits?
Well, they might.
They're welcome to look. I've hid them in my skin suit safe.
You could use a new FBI agent skin to crawl into.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
You need that identity.
Please send Fox Mulder. I want to steal his skin.
And dick pics.
And dick pics. All right.
So send all of that to us.
And we're going to segue you right back into this fantastic Harry Potter discussion.
Enjoy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, boy. So speaking of your dating pool.
Oh, Lord.
A thing that we get in this book that's new is a little bit, the kids are growing up, they're having hormones, they're dating, a lot of that's going around, and we get to see a little bit more emotions, and an interesting thing, Hermione trying to educate the boys begrudgingly on the nuances of emotions, right? She says Ron has the emotional range of a teaspoon, and she's
Just
not
true.
wrong.
Yeah,
she's 100% correct.
Yeah. So she's trying to educate them a little, especially when Harry's trying to get up in that CHANG. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, I cannot with CHANG. CHANG is a fugly slut.
Yes!
I can't handle her and Harry's relationship.
Too much.
If you can even call it that. She's so extra. The girl is literally on level 10 the entire time.
It's too much.
Yeah, she's crying, or she's like, date me, and then she's crying again. And
she's
then
like, fuck
I'm
your
jealous.
friends.
Fuck Hermione.
And he's like, literally, we've hung out for a total of 33 minutes and 20 seconds throughout 5 books. It's too much. Too much. But let's talk about CHANG for a little bit. So, of course, at this point, Harry's been into her since last book, and he was thwarted, and now Cedric's dead, and he's like, it's my turn to move in, but it's kind of a weird time, which she feels as well. So they get the DA started, and they're getting to spend a little more time together, and then they have their first kiss, in which she sobs hysterically, which makes me uncomfortable.
That's normal. It's par for the course. Every time I kiss a boy, he starts crying.
You think they use tongue?
No.
Just
he
mouth
said it was
stuff?
wet because she was crying.
I know, but I'm
That
just
is
wondering.
horrible.
But
It's
they're-
also salty.
But they're 14, 15?
But he ain't never been kissed before.
She has, though.
Yeah,
By
she has.
Cedric.
She has.
And by who knows who else, girl. We don't know her biz.
Or where
That's
else?
true.
Oh,
Okay.
definitely. Cedric was definitely getting it.
100%. Her muffin is buttered.
He had a special bathroom privilege where there were infinite numbers of bubbles in every flavor. They was getting it. Yeah, there's no way. And we've talked about this before. There's a lot of non-sex in the wizarding world, but it definitely happens between the lines. And Cho and Cedric were definitely fucking.
Yeah, and that's fine if she doesn't want to put it into the books. I totally understand. But 15, 16, 17-year-olds.
Alone?
Yes, they're having tons of sex.
Little supervision?
Girl, all about it.
Special bathroom privileges. It's like no one can go. It's like the perfect place. If you're a prefect, you can fuck all over that castle. You have all the special privileges. Anyways, but Cho and Harry definitely did not, and things did not go well for them.
Oh, they fizzled out hard for something that had such a build-up in the other books.
It was kind of annoying.
It was kind of annoying. It was like, really? All this time? And he gets caught up. The Harry Potter. That's another thing that, this is a segue.
Bitches would be
all over him. James Potter's son. Are you kidding me? When he's doing the hair flip and he's constantly looking to see if Lily is watching him, that gene had to have passed on. There's no way that girls weren't like, oh,
plus
Harry.
bitches love a famous dude.
Yeah.
Case in point, when Crumb came, Harry's much better looking than Crumb.
Yeah,
And
almost
much more
everyone
famous.
is better looking than Crumb.
And
Yeah.
much more famous.
Yeah,
Though. He's
yeah,
the fucking
literally
boy
more
who
famous.
fucking lived. I mean, bitches would be lining up. Like, their situation is unrealistic the way they portray it. That's how it would be.
But there is also, I mean, Harry, because he has been traumatized and abused his entire life, I mean, he's got a good personality and that he's kind, but he's not actually that charming because he's so, like,
He's the reluctant
awkward.
hero, you know. He's
He
bottled
is.
up. He's not really that exposed. He doesn't
Unsure of
understand the
himself.
wizarding world, so I'm so sure he does a lot of stupid shit that we don't know about.
And he's not very funny.
No.
People like a funny man. He's not
People like
funny.
a Ron Weasley,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
Girls would
A
be
Fred
like,
and George.
okay,
I'd be
a
lining
Fred
up.
Oh,
I'd be
yeah.
like,
George, girl.
I would be. Those, yeah. If I was, who would you, realistically, who would be the people you would try to date? Because for me, it really would be Fred and George. Like, if I lived in Hogwarts during that time, I'd want to fuck Harry just because he's the boy who lived. But I don't think we'd have much to talk about. We wouldn't have a lot in common. But I could hang all day with the Weasley
Serve
twins.
me up some Lee Jordan.
Oh,
good
yes,
choice.
Girl.
Yes.
If he's got a mouth on him. I bet
Oh,
Monroe
yeah,
is the
he's
one.
sassy,
Yeah,
girl.
I like him. Dean Thomas is kind of boring, but the way that Jenny describes him, they're dating, like in the next book. He sounds like he might be a little piece to break off.
I could see a little bit of that. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I would definitely, it's definitely Draco Malfoy for me.
You
That's
would
my
go for a
type.
Slytherin dude. Yeah.
And I go for boys that are kind of broken.
Plus, you're
Well,
just
maybe
like
Harry. I could probably do Harry. He's
you're
pretty
just like
broken.
Pansy Parkinson, so that really makes sense for you.
Oh my god. Those are fighting words.
I look in his eyes right now.
Did you see the pain and the hurts?
To kill?
I can't
Dead.
believe it.
I
I can't
also
believe
probably
it.
would have wanted to fuck Cedric. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Well, I would have
If he
wanted
could
to,
have
but I
lived
wouldn't
long
have.
enough.
he would
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
Good job, Cedric.
Fuck.
Miss this pussy.
You had one job.
Yeah. Cedric definitely would not be interested in me, though. I can tell you this for certain.
No, he wants the homecoming queen.
But I bet I could give me a Fred or George Weasley.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet I could swing him.
I bet those boys have more sex than like almost anyone else in
Definitely,
Hogwarts.
they've had sex with all the girls on the Quidditch team, except for Jenny.
They are so above it. They're like, all right, I'm out. We don't need to be here. Deal with this swamp.
Oh, girl, they
Bye,
got
Umbridge.
swagger.
Oh, they're, yeah.
They got dragon scale jackets.
Oh.
They have their own business. They have a business plan and the money to back it up.
Well, Harry's money, honey.
Well,
Yeah.
but then they
Still.
they turn a prof. They turn a prof.
I think that's their best moment in the entire series.
I do
when
too.
that rebellion against
You know what was
the
really
Mollusk.
interesting to me, and this is another segue, but we can get back on your topic later.
I don't even remember my topic.
But it's interesting to me that we developed the idea of wizards who are business wizards, you know, and then you have the academic wizards.
Oh, and you get
then
that a
you
lot
have
in
the
this
naturally
book.
talented wizards like Harry and Voldemort.
Hermione.
And Hermione's more of an intellectual like McGonagall, and then you've
It's
got
true.
Fred and George and even Gilderoy Lockhart
Oh,
that are business people.
phonies.
You know, they're looking to play. They came to get the coin.
I feel like you really start to think about that too. Like, what do you do when you grow up as a wizard? Because in this book, they kind of have that like mini career fair where they like discuss what they're going to be. And Ron's like, oh, I don't know, being an Auror is cool. And Hermione says a really thoughtful thing. She doesn't pick a profession. She says she wants to do something that's worthwhile. And Ron's like defensive, and he's like, being an Auror is worthwhile. And normally she would fight with him, but she like thoughtfully looks up and she's like, it is, but it's not the only thing. You know, she's real deep with like her life outlook.
It's interesting that they have to make those decisions at such a young age, because to me the owls and the newts, they really symbolize like the SAT and getting into college. And you know, in this wizarding world there is no college, like it's
Oh,
Hogwarts
shit.
and that's it. So they have to make that decision at 15, 16, whereas, humans, it's like 17, 18. Sometimes you even get into college and you don't know what you're doing. So it is
Sometimes you're 30 next summer and you still don't know.
Not that you're speaking from experience.
No, I'm 24 and beautiful. Just kidding. I love that I'm almost 30. Mick will be there in January.
I know, I'm excited. 30, flirty, thriving. That's
yes! Ooh, and with your new haircut, you're going to look fierce.
Yes, queen, if I ever get it. Oh, no, fuck, what were you just talking about?
Sorry.
The owls,
No, you're perfect.
SATs.
No college.
But,
No
well,
college.
but in the UK, which I'm not super familiar with their educational system, but don't they
They get
start...
really specialized.
Yeah, because don't they end high school at like 16 and go to like uni or something at 17? If you ever watch Skins, they do a lot of it in the English version, but...
I know in university they get really specialized really quickly, right? Because you have to choose which
You have to pick
college
immediately.
within the university. So, but I'm not familiar with their primary school. It is definitely different than what we do in the
I know they
States.
definitely don't go as long as we do, but that's all I really know for certain.
Well, no one goes as long as you do.
Amen!
Hey.
Oh,
Done.
Call me!
So that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, always. That's what I bring to the table.
So yeah, so there's a lot of like business stuff. Fred and George are amazing. Do you I have like a couple things that are a little off topic from everything we've discussed that I kind
Yeah.
of wanted to talk about?
I know Ashley's got some good stuff too. I feel like we talked over you, Ashley. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
We're fucking loud. Mostly Morgan. I'm just funny.
God damn it. So
I'm just here to look pretty.
Oh! Check and check.
So a really sad thing happens when Sirius gives Harry a present and he says like, use this if you ever like need me, but Harry never opens it because he doesn't want Sirius to like leave Grimmauld Place and make a mistake. And it was that two-way mirror that would have easily solved all of the tragedy of the end of the book, which of course, that's it had to be that way.
Yeah.
But when he does finally open it,
It's too late.
it's too late, but he expects to see Sirius there because he had that same feeling we all fucking had right after Sirius died, where he said he's not gone, he's just on the other side. He's definitely gonna see him in the mirror, right? That's so sad.
That's a bring, bring. No one picked up.
Oh, baby. And we had a spiel ready. We were going to tell him off.
Well, we could. So that was a really sad thing for me. And then he gets really existential after that when he sees nearly headless Nick, right? And he gets all, oh, suddenly I just remembered that ghosts are a thing.
He's like, tell me I can see him again. He's so frantic. Which is funny because it's not the first time that he's dealt with death.
Yeah.
But it almost is because his parents were dead before he even realized it. And everyone else is, pretty much died that wasn't super close to him. And this was the first death that he's felt while he was cognitive of it. So
Yeah.
I do think it is really sad. But it's also, yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
bummer.
it's lucky he got these training wheels now because, death is about to become an omnipresent thing in this series. So,
Yeah. Death is really ramping up in the next book.
Yeah,
it's,
girl.
it's really
Shit's
gonna
about to
get.
get
It's
real
going to
real.
get a lot more real, which I'm kind of excited for. The Half-Blood Prince hasn't been one of my favorites ever. It's always been kind of towards the bottom, but I'm really, really interested to reread it now because, I felt so differently on this reread than I ever have at any point in my life because, of course, we're always evolving, but I'm really excited to check it out again.
Evolving or devolving.
Well,
Depending
what
on
can
who
you
you are,
do?
right? It just depends on who you are. Some of us are becoming, amoebas again.
Well, some of us are long bottoming. It's me. My hair looks good. I'm sorry, can we take it back and talk about Harry and Cho again for just like a spit? I feel like we
Sure,
didn't
as long as we're
really
being
cover
mean to
that.
Cho Chang, I'm always down.
That's all we can be.
Girl.
Because she's obviously the worst. I loved when they had their super awkward date at Hogsmeade, and she took him off the path to like some stupid tea store with like cherubs in the sky, which is sort of deeply uncomfortable. And then Harry talks about Hermione. And we talked about this today, Ashley. It's great that Harry and Hermione are friends and they're only friends and there's no like sexual tension, like they're only ever going to be friends. And that's wonderful. But it takes a special woman to be able to be with a man whose best friend is a woman. You know what I mean? And because there's so much jealousy, case in point with Cho Chang, she could not handle it, which is a symbol as to why Ginny Weasley is the perfect person for Harry Potter. She will never be jealous of his
because
relationship.
she understands that friendship. She's also friends with Hermione. She gets it. You know, she understands that they're just friends. And, you know, Cho Chang is insecure, clearly.
So insecure.
And the girl does not know how to take a beat, all right? Your boyfriend just got killed by some evil man.
Literally months before.
Girl, take a minute. Like, she doesn't have any friends that are like, honey.
And then when she and Harry split, or they don't even talk about it.
Oh, she jumps on right to the next
She's on a new dude.
Who does she go to next?
Michael McCormick?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I have no
Corny.
time for him.
Jenny's ex.
Yeah. Well, you know what the
Ginny
problem
showed
is.
her.
Cho Chang should have cut her hair after Cedric died. She would have been a much better person.
It would have been.
People always forget, you need to cut something off, girl. Just get a new do.
Feel the loss.
Do the smoky eye. Yeah.
Truly
Just start
do the
smoking.
smoky eye.
Start smoking cigarettes for a little while. She just didn't. The problem was she's a serial monogamist. And so when that one thing went bad, she had all this horrible traumatic baggage, and she wanted to make that the basis of a new relationship.
Well, but
and
she was
nobody
also
likes
with
that.
Cedric, and she was like, "Oh, Harry, but you're cute though."
Yeah, she'd have her eye out
Just
on
wait
him.
9 months, honey.
I'll see you soon.
So are you saying that Cho Chang is secretly working with Tom Riddle,
Cho Chang is
and
the
she knew? Yes, she knew. That's why she was
Novella
flirting
coming
with
to you
Harry,
soon.
and that's why she was so upset when it went down, because she was the mole, and she was going to destroy Dumbledore's army from the inside.
Well, her best friend was none other than Marietta.
Mary.
What's her
Mhm.
name?
Oh, snitchy
Oh,
snitch.
Edgecombe. Marietta
Oh,
Edgecombe.
snitch snatch.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, it's the kind of peeps she runs with.
I mean, if you lay down
And
with
what
dogs.
kind of friend is like, "Oh, I know you're not into this, but come and do this thing with me, and I'm going to
This,
make you
like,
do it."
illegal thing?
Yeah, that you totally don't want to do, and I can tell you're not trying to vibe here. And instead of telling you, okay, just go on, run on, do your own thing, let me force you to be a part of this crew with people you don't trust.
She's a bad
and
friend.
then put you in the situation to get this, snitch thing burned across your face.
Which, permanent?
That's a nasty
Not permanent?
hex.
I'm sure Madame Pomfrey hooked her up.
Yeah.
I hope it was permanent.
Because that bitch is playing with fire. I mean, she really almost
didn't
ruined
Hermione
a lot.
put that jinx on the
Oh,
paper,
yes, she
and
did.
that's what caused that? Which is
Because
kind of
she's
interesting,
smart.
because that's Hermione's first play as an evil bitch.
But not her last.
Oh, I love Hermione.
I love it.
Speaking of Hermione, I've got a little thing to say here.
Yes, please.
So, fuck Lavender Brown. That's all I gotta say. That's it. End of talking point.
Intrinsically, universally,
Yeah.
fuck her.
Okay, and I was doing some research as I was preparing for this, and I was wondering, all right, am I the only one who just cannot stand
Absolutely
Lavender Brown?
not.
And I am not alone, and I started wondering, well, why do we feel this way? And I saw someone on a message board say that Hermione and Lavender were complete opposites. They were parallel characters. And that's a trend in the book. And then, once you see it, it's there. And I started to draw conclusions. So, what are other parallel characters in the book? And I'll give you mine first, so you guys have some time to think about this. Okay. Trelawney and McGonagall.
It's perfect.
And it's perfect because it's the exact mirror of Lavender and Hermione. And there's this whole idea that in the wizarding world, there are the creatives, the divine, the seers, the Luna Lovegoods. And then there are the intellectuals, the McGonagalls, the Flitwicks, Hermione's.
Yeah. That's a really good point, because if you start picking out characters and seeing like who they match with, I think you can also find their opposite, because that's interesting that you said Hermione and McGonagall are like kind of the same, and Lavender and Trelawney are the same, so it's like a double mirror. It's like double rainbow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, y'all.
Oh, I've got one. Can I go
Yeah, go
steal
first.
it? I would say that Dumbledore's opposite is not Voldemort, but is actually Dolores Umbridge.
Oh.
Because they're kind of a mirror in that they both say outwardly, and I think Dolores really does believe that what she's doing is right. Like, even though it's deeply wrong, just like with the alt-right, like, they really do believe that what they're doing and saying is right. Like,
True
they
villains.
truly do.
Villains always do.
Yeah.
That's what makes them villainous.
The difference is they both do what they think is right ardently, but it couldn't be, their version of right is so black and white, it's so stark. They're very different.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a truth bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, mine's really obvious, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Harry versus Draco. I
Yes.
mean, they're meant to be
literally
foils.
black and white Draco with the bleach
I mean, we could
blonde.
play this game literally all day, and once you start to notice it, you can't look away.
And
You see it.
Harry's like Lupin, like a professor to compare him to, and fucking Snape and Draco. They're like the same. Yeah.
Well, except that Snape was bullied and Draco is the bully. But so often with bullies, aren't they bullied
They
somewhere
were
else?
bullied.
Exactly.
Yeah. We don't know what
Yeah.
happened to Draco before.
Oh,
And his daddy is
Lucius
the
Malfoy
worst.
definitely beat Draco.
His daddy
when he
is the
was a
worst.
kid.
Oh, yeah.
With that cane he carries.
Another
Definitely.
zaddy issues.
Girl.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Intensely, yes. Ooh, do you have any
Lucius
other ones?
Malfoy.
Have you thought of any others? Because
No,
we should
that's all
try.
thought you had something.
I think
Yeah, I thought you guys would be better at
Way
this
to
shit.
call me out.
so.
I'm
Like
the guest.
Hagrid. I made a joke about Flitwick and Hagrid because they're short and small and big and tall. But like Hagrid is this uneducated, kind oaf. But it's interesting to think. I kind of think would maybe Voldemort be the opposite? Because Hagrid has spent his life protecting Harry, and Voldemort has lived his life trying to kill Harry.
Well,
and Voldemort is very educated and very talented.
And very privileged, even
Yes.
though he was an orphan, right?
yeah.
Whereas
And he has a
Hagrid-
lot of followers,
Yeah.
friends. Hagrid has no one.
Yeah. He's
He
got
has no-
Fang. He's got that old crazy spider.
I
And
would
he has
adopt
like
Fang.
empathy. Like Hagrid is like a ball of empathy, and Voldemort is
a vapid ball.
yeah,
It's
exactly. Yeah.
nothing.
He's a
nothing.
sociopath.
I think
yeah.
they would be a good case for like opposites. And because the Chamber of Secret business, he penned it on Hagrid.
Oh, good point.
Tom Riddle. So maybe Tom Riddle and Voldemort, maybe
And
or Tom
I'm
Riddle
interested
and
to
Hagrid.
hear what the listeners have to say about this. So please, like, DM me, tweet me. I want to know what other parallels do you see, because I honestly think we could talk about this forever.
And if you just like to show up at her house, her address is 7934.
No.
What?
We're going to put it in the show notes.
Oh, okay.
I'll just share my location with all of you.
You prefer after midnight drop-bys, right?
Fine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's working. Okay, so we've really run the gamut on some characters. We have feelings about Lavender, as in we all hate her congruently. We have feelings about fucking Umbridge, Abby. We kind of feel bad for Squibs. We're kind of mad at Dumbledore. Harry needs to chill. Hermione's a queen. Tom Felton's God. I mean, we've really talked a lot of things today. Do you guys have any other follow-up questions? Any things you want to kind of touch base on? We didn't really talk too much about Umbridge's reign, but she really did have like a straight reign of terror.
But the girl got displaced, honey.
Yeah, she
got dragged down to the forest, and then she was shook. She didn't even say bye. She was like, "I'm out this bitch. No, thank you. Forget about me." And that was it. That was it for her. She peaked.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
peaked to Hogwarts.
we got to see old Rita Skeeter again for a hot minute.
Oh, yeah? Mhm.
Yeah.
The literal
Still.
definition of alternative facts is
Yeah.
together. They're like an epic combination. I think my last point that I want to talk about is the room of requirement.
Thank you.
yes.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of a big thing. Like this idea, I mean, we know that the castle is kind of all-knowing. It moved the stairs a few books back to take the kids to the three-headed dog, and that's where they discovered, that whole thing that was going on. And the idea that the castle knows when someone is in need, and the castle is its own being, right? Like it's its own existing force that is looking out for the people. I mean, it distinguishes between bad and good. It knows exactly what you want. It's like the perfect closet. If you could have a closet that you walked up to and you were like, what do I need to wear today? And it popped it out to you.
That's some
Wouldn't
sheer
that be
Oh,
horror.
but what if you ask that and it throws a basilisk out on your ass? Because
Well,
there's Chamber of
it's been
Secrets
known to
also hidden
happen.
up in there. I mean, she's got a dark
You're
side,
right.
you know?
She's got a dark side. She's a little evil.
I mean, she's got a little.
She's
Who
not a
doesn't?
bitch.
Who doesn't
Well,
have a
we
little bit?
first hear about the room of requirement very subtly. I think in book 1, Dumbledore describes that he doesn't like propose to know everything about the castle. That's insane. In fact, just the other day he was walking along a hallway and he needed a bathroom, and suddenly a room that he thought was a broom closet turned into a bathroom. So that was kind of our first like little glimpse, another little trickle that she does across the series. And the room of requirement becomes increasingly more important, like especially in the next book, we get our first glimpse of where the cabinet is hidden that Draco does all his business with, and in that very room is where the diadem of Ravenclaw is hidden, in the very room where Harry and Ron almost die when things get set on fire in the last book. It's just like, it's a very important room. Very important. And what a great concept.
Though difficult, actually in the writing, though, because
Yeah.
maybe, so remind me, because maybe it's explained better in the books than it was in the movie rewatch, but Draco and the Slytherins want to find the room, right? What they require is for the room to unveil itself to them. But the room doesn't work for them. It works for the other group. So
I think it intrinsically works for someone who needs something. You can't need the room. You have to need a space to operate your underground army, or you need a toilet because you got the shits. You know, you need something, but you don't need the room itself. When you're because then it wouldn't work, right? They wouldn't be able to have DA in there because Umbridge, they'd be able to find it.
Also, the people inside the room needed the room to be secret. So, like, on principle, the room could not be found. Because
it's a paradox, though, because unless, as you're saying, which is the first I've heard of it, but it totally makes sense, that the room itself or the castle itself is making moral decisions about who it's going to listen to. Because, like, for example, I don't think they actually say this, but Snape could have said to the room of requirement or thought or whatever, I require to find Harry Potter and the rest of Dumbledore's army practicing. Bam, done, right? But because the room seems to like Dumbledore's army more than the Slytherins, I mean, who wouldn't? Like the room, see what I'm saying? It's like a paradox.
No,
it doesn't really.
Maybe what it is actually just having, like, not to get too Star Wars on you, but, you know, balance in the Force, right? You've got to give a little to good and you got to give a little to evil, because I think in the next book they're able to find the room. They find them, right? I mean, the hiding spot is opened, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about Draco and Harry?
That's the fire scene, the one that ends in the big fire, right? They do find them.
I can't remember how it goes down.
But it's
we'll have to
something
return
like
to
that.
that.
But they do enter the same room.
Yeah,
Yes.
they enter the same room.
Okay. And that's interesting, too, because, you know, the Sorting Hat kind of has its own brain situation going on. Like, does the castle itself have its own sort of magical intelligence? Because there's a lot of things going on, like you said, the staircase, and, like, even beyond that, like, it has all these magical barriers, and it's very protective.
Maybe all of the charms that it put on it gave it its own.
Maybe.
You know.
Oh, like an artificial intelligence, but like the magic.
Fucking Siri up in that piece.
Oh, yes, Cortana!
Hogwarts, give me a hot dog.
Now, girl, you know that's the house elves.
Oh, speaking of the house elves, my last point is about Spew. This entire time, Spew has become such an important thing to Hermione. No one understands. Everyone's like, what the F is wrong with this girl in them socks? They don't look right.
She's getting better.
She's getting better. She got a little better. She had the aid of some magic. But Creature actually ends up playing a pretty big role.
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting to me. The idea that something was so insignificant and then it turns out to actually be a major...
Turns out she was right.
She was right.
Women everywhere. Yeah, no, I agree though, because, and Dumbledore says that, of course, to Harry in the end. He says, I told Sirius to be nicer to Creature, and he didn't, and it's sad, and that's just where we're at because of the way we treated house elves. And we do, it's weird that we have, or it's not weird, it's great that we have these different depictions of house elves, from fucking Dobby to Winky, all the ways to Creature, because everyone's kind of at a different level, and so they do, it's a lot to consider in the treatment of them, because not all house elves are created equal. They're all very,
you have
very
the house
different.
elves who want freedom. You have the house elves who feel, you know, an incredible...
They want a family to
they
serve.
want a family to serve. They need that for self-importance. And then you have the house elves who want a family to serve, but they're also extremely bitter, and they're like, I don't fuck with you. You're not my master. Out of here.
Done.
I would totally be Creature if I was a house elf. I can assure you.
You're pretty much him, yeah.
Fuck you, no!
That's why I'm the beauty.
Well, that's how the cookie crumbles. I have one last thing, and then maybe we can move into the game corner. I really, really love the idea of the thestrals and kind of introducing that, because we had known about the horseless carriages before. So I'm assuming, of course, because she's brilliant in every way, that she had in mind this invisible beast that you could only see revealed to you after you've seen death. But to see it happen, and Harry with his meet cute with Luna, and like her later telling him like, oh, don't worry, you're just as sane as I am, and him being like, well, that's fucked. It's just a really interesting concept, and I wonder if it's prevalent in other myths throughout history, and I don't know. Is there like the concept of a being revealed to you after death that others cannot see? You know what I mean?
Okay, well, if you hear the banshee, that signals your death. That's not the same thing. There's the Death Watch beetle in that Real Magic. What's it called? It's got...
Practical Magic.
Thank you so much.
Sandra Bullock
Yes.
and Nicole Kidman.
You're so amazing. Every proper noun you just said fell out of my head. Thank you. So you got the Death Watch beetle in that. I don't know of anything in mythology that you can only... Well,
Not like the Grim Reaper. Because, like, you don't see him until, like, you're gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just another layer of complexity.
I really like it.
It's great. I think it adds a lot to the story, and I think that it does more to signify that Harry is unique, and his experiences have shaped him into the person that he is at that moment. And he can see and feel and hear things that other people can't. And that's what makes him such an outcast. I mean, it's why, no one believed him when he was like, Cedric was killed by Lord Voldemort. And, he was just unrelatable. And I feel like that is another justifying layer. Because you also have Luna who can see them, she's pretty unrelatable. Neville is unrelatable as well, and he can see them. So, pretty cool. And they also get to ride away on those things to get to the Department of Ministries, which I think is awesome.
And if I'm going to ride a thestral through the air, I definitely want to see it, okay?
Right, that sounds
I can't be doing this, like invisible
you gotta be like, hold
shit.
on, let me kill someone real quick, I'll be right back.
Yes, exactly. Or one of you kill yourselves and I'll watch. I don't care, but something's going to change.
Someone's gotta take one for the team.
It's very much like it's magical wisdom, is the way I think of it. Like, Neville and Luna. Oh, thanks.
So meta.
I like to go deep. Luna and Neville and Harry, they've all been through really intense trauma that, frankly, Hermione, Ginny, and Ron, they don't know it. Not yet. They haven't touched that kind of trauma.
Well, and even then, do they ever really get there? Like, on a very deep and personal level as these other characters do? I don't know if they do. I mean... Ron loses... Which one dies? Fred?
Fred
dies.
Fred is dead. That's how I remember.
Oh, that's smart. It rhymes. Fred dead. Uh-huh. Yeah, but Hermione... everyone loses someone in the last battle.
Yeah,
that's traumatic, but it's different, though, because they're older. They're adults at that
Harry's
point.
definitely suffered more, but everybody's had their own version of sacrifice. I would say Ron the least. Ginny went through a whole year of being possessed by Lord Voldemort, and I feel
That's
like
true.
that really affected her.
And it was a bonding point for her and Harry.
And Hermione had to erase herself from her parents' memories for the entirety of the last book in the Battle of Hogwarts.
But she didn't forget them.
She didn't, but how sad would it be? She was like pretty close with her parents, so like how sad would it be to like erase yourself from the memory of someone that you deeply love?
What's funny though is that she's such a good witch that that they're not sad. They're out there. They're like,
living life.
Yeah, they're vacationing in Hawaii.
They're living that child-free life. They are loving
I
it.
love that we didn't have any children.
Double income, no
Cheers, honey.
When she replaced those memories, they were depressed for like
They
a
were
month.
really-
They were
yeah.
like, God.
They got really
I don't know
sad.
why. But no, I think it's... Oh, I thought I heard a phone. That was weird.
Ring, ring!
Bitch, are you ready?
Oh, no, girl! I am not prepared. Let me sit down on the toilet. No, but I just love seeing the Thestrals as an indication of emotional intelligence and strength and wisdom. I think it's super powerful. And I have to tell you, I'm going to come out and tell you, I see Thestrals and dead people. And there are a ton of them in this room.
He's such an attention whore. This is like insane.
What?
Okay, I
It's
just...
true!
That like you were surprised. Honey, you know.
No. I mean, me? No, I don't like attention. I get nervous.
I have one last thing I want to ask you guys about.
Okay.
It's we can do it quickly and move on. Why can Muggles not see Dementors?
Well, Arabella Fig can't see them either.
No, she can.
No, she can.
No, I don't think so.
She
Are you
can
certain?
when
At
they
the
take her
trial?
into the trial, she says she is offended by the fact that they think
Oh, really?
that she
Oh,
doesn't see
forgive
them.
me, because I thought that
Pull
she
out the
could
book.
only. I thought that she could only. Books are over here. I thought that she could only see the effects of the Dementors.
No, do you think that because she describes them so poorly? Because she's like, they were moving slowly.
Well, and she talks about. Would you? Because I have no idea where it is in there. Yeah, because she talks about the effects of the Dementors on the boys. I thought.
She does that, but they also
This is
ask
wrong,
her if
huh?
she can see, and she says yes.
Oh my god.
Okay, so after giving the book a little run through, we have here, they bring Mrs. Fig into the hearing, and they talk about the fact that she's a squib, and Fudge asks, incidentally, can squibs see Dementors? Yes, we can, said Mrs. Fig indignantly.
Indeed.
Indeedy.
But
Harry doesn't believe her. He's
What'd
not
he
sure.
say?
It says Harry felt a horrible sinking in the pit of his stomach. Whatever Mrs. Fig said to the contrary, it sounded to him as though the most she had ever seen was a picture of a Dementor, and a picture could never convey the truth of what these beings were like.
So, interesting that maybe she could have possibly been lying. Dumbledore could have prepped her for this interview.
I'm getting the most horrible flashbacks. I'm going to say, I know I was on the opposite side before, but I'm going to believe the woman in this scenario.
Oh,
and I'm going to say, if she
hey.
says she can see them, I'm going to go with her on
I
that.
think she can see them, but that she's not good with words because she doesn't talk to people frequently.
She's awkward. Yeah.
I think that she can feel them and she recognizes their presence. As to whether she can see them or it's a communication thing, I'm not going to go that far as to guess, but I know at the very least she knew that they were there because she wouldn't have unveiled her cover with, for doing so. I mean, think about the advantage that they give up by showing and exposing Mrs. Fig. I mean, he goes back to Privet Drive at the end of this book.
Yeah.
That's a huge asset that they lose the cover of. She might still be there, but she's not incognito.
And she's really only
The
useful
ministry knows.
incognito.
Yeah, the
The ministry's the enemy in this book. Also, so the Dementors, I know they're supposed to be at Azkaban. We don't really trust them. Obviously, they're disloyal. They abandon it during this book and join the cause of Voldemort. So does that mean Dementors are out there just ravaging the countryside, feeding on whomever they please? And are those the people that fill the mental institutions, the people who are blank? The people who have, essentially no souls?
Well, possibly, but I know at the end of this book, Umbridge admits that she was the one that sent the Dementors
Yes.
to go after Harry. So I don't
But they
necessarily...
have to feed on something,
They have
right?
to feed on something, but I think you just tell them, hey, honey, there's food over there. Go and get you some, and they'll go.
But then later, they're not loyal to the ministry anymore, right?
When they get
abandon
crazy.
Azkaban.
I mean, I always thought, maybe this is so obvious, but I always thought that they were just depression, standing for depression. So those days, maybe you guys don't get this, but some days I wake up and I'm like, not this day.
Yep,
Not this day. I don't have the energy to get out of bed. I crawl to the couch. That's a little hyperbole. But and it's okay, a Dementor passed by me last night, done sucked out half my soul, and I need to recharge here because I'm sad for no reason. I do need recharge. I do it like this. Puff puff.
Plug me in.
Aw. Okay, you guys, we've pretty much covered everything. So why don't we play a couple of games to just round out this podcast? A little fun. Never hurt anyone.
Yeah.
And head over to the game corner.
Dun, dun, dun.
Games
The game corner.
for everyone. It was lovely.
Oh, I was into that. I love it. Well, from now on, we're always going to make the guests do the intro to Game Corner. They're going to be so mad at you, but you did that like a
I like
profesh.
that idea. So we were going to start with any deep questions that we had left concerning the Harry Potter series.
I blew my wad on one of them, but I know Ashley has another, so it'll work out great.
Yes.
Right? So my first one, it's maybe even just a simple question, but what is behind the veil? What do you think in your mind is behind the veil that Sirius falls through to his death?
Well, we were kind of talking about this a little bit at work today, just some preemptive HP talk. And Thomas, a guy that we work with, said an interesting thing. He said there's a concept in Catholicism of kind of like the other life being just like on the other side of a veil. And so he said that like, oh, it's just like a religious parallel, like, you know, it's the next phase like in life, which would make sense, and that's why Sirius has disappeared and he can't come back, which is a strong concept through all like passing on. You really can't come back, you know, from the netherworld. So I like to think it's not a sad place because Luna could hear those voices too. So maybe Harry could hear the voices from beyond the veil because his parents were there and they were calling to him.
Or because he was exposed to death. Because there's
or
knowing
that.
that I don't think it's explicitly clear in the books that Neville can't hear the voices too. We just don't get his perspective. So that's kind of an interesting point. I would like to think of the veil as like a pool party that was happening in the death world, you know?
And everyone's
they're all
skinny.
just like drinking margaritas and running around, and there's music.
Sirius gets
Steve
really
Aoki's in
tan.
the corner, like bumping some hardcore jams. I don't know why I said him, but I chose him. He looks dead anyway, so it's fine. But yeah, I'd like to think it's just like a hangout zone. It's a chill out zone where everyone just kind of hangs out. And, you know, if you get into that party, you just can't leave. It's like Hotel California.
Oh. What do you think, Mickey?
Well, because of the whispers, the whisper element, to me it didn't seem like...
It's a library.
That would be awesome! Oh my god, my afterlife could be a library, as long as there's a place I can smoke, that's the only thing. Unless I'm in hell, in which case that would be perfect, actually. But I kind of think of it, because of the whispers, it doesn't sound like super fun to me, sadly, but not bad either. I don't think it's hell or anything, but maybe just like a wispy, kind of like a Niffin, but without the power.
Do you think it's like a purgatory, like a waiting area?
It could absolutely be that.
Like
And
if you're like, okay, I died. Like Sirius is like, all right, I died, but like Harry's gonna die in a few years, you know, maybe a few decades. I'll just stand here and wait for him. It's like when your friends go to the bathroom at a festival, you just stand by the porta potties. You're like, all right, here I am.
Making eyes at the men. Yeah.
I actually really like that concept of like Sirius waiting around for Harry because James and Lily would have each other. So maybe they could even move on together, but Sirius would wait around for Harry. He would feel like really responsible about it. I like that.
I could definitely see that. Yeah, so maybe like a little purgatory situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ashley, you had a deep question
Let's
for
go
us.
deep.
I did. Shit, what was it? Just kidding. Okay, so if you could perform,
Oh, that's right.
was that not the deep question you
No, it is. We just
forgot.
remembered, and I forgot the fact that you told us earlier, and I still didn't pick one.
Me
So.
neither.
All right, so think about it. If you could perform one spell or charm, I won't limit it to just a spell. I guess a charm is a spell. What would it be? And you can only do it one time. One spell, one time.
I feel like that's really tough because one and done makes it a really hard choice.
It's about the experience, I believe, not just what you get out of it. Right?
Okay.
So you couldn't just like, oh, I'm going to summon a bunch of money. I mean, you could to appear in front of you. But I feel like the wise tactic is to do something for the experience.
Okay.
So maybe that's a little bit of guidance. While you guys are talking about it, I will go ahead and say mine. And I don't know if this is technically a charm or a spell, so it might not even meet my own requirements, but I'm the judge, so I say it does. Animagus. I'd like to turn into an animal. And look, or what is Tonks? She's like a, what's the word?
Oh, what is it called?
She can transform into anything, right?
She can
So
change her face
being
and
able to
everything.
look at life from another perspective, that is what I would like to do. And I feel like that would be so valuable to me moving forward in my life and my growth path as an individual. So that's what I would pick for a one and done.
She's a metamorphmagus.
There it is.
Metamorphmagus? She's
Well,
a
there's-
shapeshifter.
Girl, there's a reason we couldn't remember that damn made up shit. That's some broke down
Metamorpho
Latin.
something.
Metamorpho who? A bring bring.
Oh,
Maybe it's metamorphmagus, like animagus.
Oh, metamorphmagus.
I don't know, it's a dumb word. Sorry, JK. You could have did better.
JKJK.
You know, okay, so, you know, I'm an avowed Slytherin, right? And I'm also a little bit of a hex witch. I mean, you know. You can tell immediately, girl. This Slytherin doesn't hide her scales. Whatever. Okay.
Andrea said today, she was like, is anyone proud to be a Slytherin? And I was like,
Yeah. And
I know one.
And you tell her the next time I see her, I'm coming for her. Is anyone proud to be a Slytherin? So what? I'm supposed to walk around feeling bad about myself all day? Bring, bitch!
That was such a snake-like movement.
Oh,
with your
yeah.
neck you did there.
Girl.
He was whipping
I'm
and moving.
feeling it. You know, I would pick Crucio, and I'll tell you why. I know you're like, unforgivable. Why?
Oh my gosh! No. Now why? Who do you want to torture?
And it's not on that. It's not on a person. No, a little bit of fun. You know. No, I just feel like that would be a really useful spell to have in my back pocket for emergency situations. You talk about a home invasion. You talk about someone assaulting me on the street. I mean, I am a gay man. I'm pretty feminine. Sometimes people like to come for me. I wish I could do it all the time, because sometimes I'm scared of people. But if I could just have it once, I think it would make me feel so much more comfortable until I had to use it, and then I would be scared again. But yeah.
So you would hold on to it. You would save it.
I would save it for an emergency.
That's okay. That's strategic. I can get behind that.
Okay. Crucio.
I think I don't want to steal your answer, so I won't. But I feel like what you said is probably the best choice because it's enlightening in so many ways. But if I'm not going to pick that, I think I might like to apparate. Doing it only once is kind of shitty because then you can't fly
back.
But
just end up in the Maldives like I have arrived.
I'm here forever.
Well, no, they're temporary. I was gonna say, could I just use the spell to create a port key and then always use my port key to go back and forth? But it's only good for okay. Yeah. So I think I would just like to apparate because that seems like a sensation.
If you could apparate anywhere right now, where would it be? Because you'd have to leave us, and we're hella fun.
I mean, where else could you go that's better than my bedroom?
I don't know, maybe like Morocco or like...
Fuck you, Morocco!
Like the deserts of Afghanistan sound more appealing than this conversation.
Okay, that's rude to Afghani people. Okay.
Okay.
Did you know
Moving on.
The national food of Morocco is goulash? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I love goulash
Eastern
too.
European.
National food of Morocco.
Did you know Morocco's in Africa? That's all I got.
You said you're a winner.
That's all I got.
That's it. Do you have any more deep thoughts?
I got none, but who's...
I'm shallow as fuck over here. Shallow.
Okay.
Do you have one?
I do.
Okay.
It's just the last little piece that I'll talk about this.
Okay.
Will Harry and Ron ever read Hogwarts history? Like ever in their entire lives? Do they die and they just never have read it? And Hermione for the entire, they're like old and they're little rocking chairs. I don't know if wizards are in rocking chairs, but here in the South they are. And
Southern wizards.
Y'all know. But yeah, so do they ever read it? Is she always having to be like, guys, in Hogwarts a history?
No. They never do it.
That's fucked up. Don't you want to know the backstory? Haven't they learned, oh wow, it'd be really useful to understand, especially Harry. I mean, Ron has no excuse.
Ron, because he's Ron, will just not do it.
He's just clueless. But Harry
doesn't
learn.
He doesn't do it on principle because he knows it makes Hermione mad and that makes him smile.
I think that's fucked up.
I think that's how it is.
And everyone takes Hermione. I mean, they take advantage of her, really. It's friendship, so it's fine, but, like, they know she's going to do all the work.
Is that how you justify being so mean to Morgan?
I justify being so mean to Morgan. You should see the bruises on my body from this woman. She's so sweet. When the microphone's on, watch when it turns off, she's going to pick up a steak knife and chase my ass around the house.
I'm about to Lucius Malfoy you so hard.
Oh, are you?
Watch
okay.
It. Bring.
Hello.
Is it me? You were just talking some shit about me.
No, I totally wasn't at all.
Hermione,
I honestly
does Harry read Hogwarts?
Oh, they don't fucking have to because they know Hermione will always be there in their ear. Did you read it? Did you read it? No, Hermione. No one read it.
She gets off on like knowing more than they
Yeah, she loves that shit too.
But it is to their own benefit to fucking understand the background of this magical school that they went through all this trouble to protect,
which they burned down in book 7. Just essentially.
Girl, finished.
Well, I think definitely they didn't do it. And that's probably the truth.
And that's it.
You know what else is the truth? Everyone has a birthday. Even the members of the Order of the Phoenix. But the question is, would you be able to tell whose birthday came before whose? Who is older? Who is older? I have a little game for you called the Order of the Order. So I'm going to give you a group of 3 people in the order. I have a couple of groups lined out, and you're gonna rank them for me from oldest to youngest.
Okay.
The Order of the Order.
Okay.
First group. Okay, and you guys can collaborate.
We're
on
working together.
this.
Yeah,
we're
that would
totally
be hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Group 1. You got Sirius.
Okay.
You got James Potter. You got Remus Lupin.
Okay, well, this is going to be by a fraction of months because I'm pretty sure they were in the same grade.
Yep.
If not in the same grouping of grades. So
I think Lupin's the youngest.
I do too. I
For
was
some
actually
reason.
about
I don't
to
know
say
why.
that because
Okay.
they don't take him as seriously, and they're kind of like, oh, Remus. They call him Mooney. I mean, his nickname is definitely more of the like
Kitties. sort
kitty
things.
of the 3. So I would say, yeah, definitely Lupin is the youngest. Now, who's the oldest, James or Sirius?
For some reason I feel like Sirius because he feels like an older brother to me. But James, we don't even see that much of
No,
though.
but James is very immature, you know. So I could venture to
He'd be
say
a-
he was the middle
the middle of
child,
them.
right? He was trying to get the most attention. Sirius, I mean, they talk about how he was inherently good looking and he was just so beautiful. And James is like, oh, I gotta fluff my hair up. Are the girls looking at me? Because he's
Very
competing
middle
with
child.
Sirius. That's very middle child behavior. So I think that's your answer. Are we right?
You guys were so close, and your reasoning makes so much sense. So Sirius
But we were wrong.
is the oldest.
Okay.
So you crushed that. Lupin is the middle child. He was
Okay.
born... So Sirius was born November 3rd, 1959. Lupin
God, they were old.
I know.
Lupin was born March 10th, 1960, making him the middle child. James is the youngest, hence the immaturity. March 27th, 1960. So just
What
some
are their
mere
signs?
days. Oh, that's a good thing. I don't know. That's a great thing to look up. Here you go. Well, you want to come back to that? We can do their signs.
What's your passcode?
Oh,
do 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 do. Bring bring.
Okay. And then, okay, you guys ready for your next group, though? Okay, we got Bill Weasley, we got Charlie Weasley, and we got Fleur Delacour. Bill, Charlie, and Fleur.
I think they're in the order that you just said them. I think Bill's the eldest, isn't he? Or is it Charlie? Bill's at the bank,
No.
Charlie's the dragon guy. Charlie's the older?
It's the other way around. Isn't Charlie the...
Flora's definitely the youngest.
Yeah, Flora's the youngest. Which one's the one with the dragons?
I believe that's Charlie.
That's Charlie.
Okay, then yeah.
Was it Bill, Charlie, Floor? Or Charlie,
Sure.
Bill, Floor? Bill, Charlie, Floor.
So, Bill... So the order goes from oldest to youngest. Bill, Charlie, Fleur.
Yes!
Hey!
But Bill is the one that marries Fleur.
Mm.
And they are 7 years apart.
Wow.
And she's pretty young when they get married post high school, might I remind you?
Mm-hmm.
She likes him old and seasoned. And
Well-
she's also part
Of the
Vila.
order. Oh, ancient Vila. Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
She's ancient.
She's ancient. She's wise AF. Pause. What are the dates that they were...
Okay, next group. You guys got to tell me who's older. Aberforth Dumbledore, Albus Dumbledore, Mad-Eye Moody.
Okay.
Albus, Aberforth, Moody. Or Aberforth, Albus, Moody. But Moody's definitely the youngest, I think.
I think Aberforth is the younger brother. I could be totally wrong, but I think the first one, that would be my
Right?
vote of them. Yeah.
So, what's your answer?
Which one's right?
Albus, Aberforth, Moody.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yes! Good job, Queen!
And listen to this bullshit. Aberforth Dumbledore was born in 1883. Albus Dumbledore, 1881. So I always operated under this thought that Dumbledore had longevity of life because of his association with Nicholas Flamel. But apparently not.
No.
What do you mean no?
What's Aberforth have to do with it? He was
Oh,
only
I
born
thought
2
maybe-
years later.
Oh, yeah.
So how old? I'm real bad
Do
at math.
wizards have an expiration date? Let us know.
But they're both over 100 years old.
Yeah, they're ancient.
In the
yeah.
books.
Crazy.
How?
I think they both
What I want to know
had
is,
some of
like,
that Philosopher's Stone.
do wizards, is their genetic makeup just inherently different from ours? So they don't get things like cancer. They don't get uncurable illnesses. Because if you look at the hospital wing of Hogwarts, or even St. Mungus, right? That's right?
Mungos.
Mungos.
Mungos. St. Mungos, none of them are necessarily sick with things that weren't caused by something, right? There was something, some kind of charm or spell or whatever.
That's a really good question.
They don't get inherently sick. Like a wizard isn't going to get the flu, right?
Well, because if they did, they fix it quickly.
Exactly. There are cures to it, so it wouldn't even happen, don't you think? Like they
Do
would just.
wizards get AIDS?
Okay.
I guess not. I mean, no, wizards don't get it. You're right. They don't get any of that incurable stuff. It's kind of, that's a little bit of the, like, lack of sex, lack of drugs, lack of pregnancy. It's kid book.
The lack of sex is actually a very interesting thing that I didn't really think about until we started talking about this. When we first started talking about this series, was just how asexual everyone is for such a
Purposely.
long time.
Yeah, to keep it PG.
And I feel like I would really like not to read like a Skinamax version of Harry Potter, but I would like to know what shit really goes down.
Yeah, like between the
sheets.
Yeah, we need to know. Okay, we have a couple more to get through. We got Molly Weasley, Arthur Weasley, and Hagrid.
Hagrid's the youngest, I think.
For
of those
sure.
three.
I feel like Arthur and Molly are basically the same age. But let's say, because she's a little bit wiser, I'd say Molly is the oldest, and then it's Arthur, and then it's Hagrid.
I think that sounds good.
Well, you're going to be shocked by this.
Oh.
Hagrid was born December 6th, 1928.
What?
You'll recall he was at school with Tom Riddle.
Oh,
true.
my word.
That's right. It's his dragon blood. It's his giant blood. It must
But you
keep
would
him
think
young
it
and
would make
youthful.
him age more quickly, but I guess the giants live longer.
Yeah,
Well,
just
he's
a
part
little.
giant, part wizard, right? So it's half and half, honey.
So he old. He real old, you guys.
Wow, because he acts like such a child.
So he's the old. It's because he's not educated and he's
Oh,
like a puppy
read a
dog.
book, kids.
Okay, so Hagrid is the oldest, followed by Molly Weasley, followed by Arthur. He's the baby.
So Molly was older than Arthur.
Which I feel is good.
Yeah.
That was intuition.
Touch.
Okay, last group of three: Harry Potter, Ronald Weasley, Hermione Granger.
Whose birthdays do we see in the series? Can you think of any?
Pretty much just Harry.
Just
He's the
Harry.
only
We don't
person.
ever
This is
see
the only
Hermione
one that
or Ron.
matters. I would say Harry, Ron, Hermione.
That's fine. Yeah, I have no
I
idea.
mean, shit, I don't know. I know they were in the same grade, so it's got to be like a matter of weeks for some of them, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. So it actually goes, Ron is the oldest, March 1980, followed by Harry in July of 1980. No, sorry. Hermione was born in 1979,
Oh, she's the oldest.
followed by Ron, and Harry's the baby.
Okay.
I love Hermione being the oldest one, though.
Yeah, well, because she's the wisest.
Yeah. So I have a bonus information for you. It wouldn't be shocking because we just talked about Hagrid, but Voldemort was born in the year 1928. So he was around 70 years old in the final book at the Battle of Hogwarts when he met his demise.
Well, that's why he ain't got no nose. He's
Girl.
had way too much Botox.
Yeah.
He's got it pumped and then
He got
pulled it back, girl.
Not in his nose, just in the rest of his face.
It's a Michael Jackson moment. Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
fell right
Well,
off,
you guys
queen.
failed. No one's shocked. But you did great.
Oh my god. We tried.
I know you did. Okay, well, it's time to wrap up today's episode. So thank you so much for joining us today, Ashley.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun, especially as a listener of the podcast, to be able just to get on here and voice my opinions. So that was great. I love the sound of my... Actually, I hate the sound of my own voice, but I like talking, so this works.
You're a good talker. Where can our listeners find you? I know you're on the gram.
Yeah, I am definitely on the gram. You can follow me on Instagram. My handle is at lifestyled by Ash. And you can also hit me up on Twitter. My handle is exactly the same. And I'd love to hear your opinions about some of the things that we've talked about today and just Harry Potter in general. I could talk about this all day, so let's do it.
Hit her up at Lifestyled by Ash.
Slide into my DMs.
Ooh.
Oh.
Sean, are you listening? And then, of course, you can follow the podcast. We're on Facebook at Beauty and the Bitch. You can find us there. And then we are on the gram and Twitter at B&Bcast. Find us on our website, bnbcast.wordpress.com. You can follow me personally on the gram at Morgandolph. So holler at your girl.
Hey.
Mickey, what you got?
And then if you would like to read a little bit more of my writing and hear my voice, you can check me out at bitofbella, BELLA, at wordpress.com. That was my very first blog I did. That used to be my drag name, is Bella Duvall.
That is a great name.
Thank you so much. You know, I have almost 1,000 subscribers on that blog.
Yes, queen.
Yeah.
Big deal.
But they never say anything, so they might all be fake.
What was your first blog name?
Oh, fuck.
Skanked Out Meth Whore. .wordpress.com.
69? I don't remember, but I never had like a Zanga, but I did have some other like online, like where I did my poetry, but I can't remember, and everything was in like Comic Sans, and you could use some like really basic coding to get like glitter in the background or some bullshit. I don't remember what it's called.
Shit.
Yeah. But I've come a really long way.
Proud of
So you guys can check out some bloggy blogs by me and Mick on the Beauty and the Bitch page, and that's some pretty decent bullshit.
Oh, hell yeah. And of course, this is all in your show notes at the bottom. So you can just scroll down your little phone or your little
PC. And my
PC.
address and my location are also there.
And her social security number.
Absolutely.
And my credit card. Buy some shit.
Yeah, we're thorough.
So we always like to do some plugs, what's making us happy in the world right now. So I'm going to throw out a pluggy plug for the Chickpeas podcast, which is a podcast hosted by Luna Lovegood herself, Ivana Lynch, who is precious and Irish and a vegan. It's an all-vegan podcast where she tries to, like, get with her other vegan friends and say, like, hey, this is how we dress nicely, even though we're vegan, like, you know, like alternatives to leather and shit like that, and like here's some good recipes, and like she's just precious. Also, she has a cat named like Lil Puff, and she's always on like the gram like with her cat, and I'm obsessed.
Well, she just got a next follower. My little plug today is going to be for the Skinny Confidential. It's an Instagram, a podcast, and a website. The podcast is hosted by Lauren, the blogger, and her husband, Michael. And the reason I'm shouting it out today is because I shared a podcast episode with Morgan, and we are now all about that hashtag F-Factor Life. If you don't know what that is,
we're fiber hoes.
We are fiber hoes. High fiber, high protein diet. Look into it. It'll change your life. You'll go out and get them GG crackers, girl.
They taste like sadness, but they make you skinny.
Okay, so
he's laughing, but girl, you know he's thinking in his mind what has some fiber in it.
Girl, I was literally about to make a joke about how I feel hideous, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna make that joke because I should be.
That's Instagram bio. Is there fiber in there?
Yeah.
It's a new tagline.
So I'm gonna do a plug that I've actually done before, but I know how people are with plugs. I know what's that? Hey.
A butt plug?
A butt plug! Not a butt plug, a whole bowling pin, evidently, is what people think I'm capable of, you people. No, I'm going to plug again Gopher, who's on YouTube. Now, I plugged him back in December of 2017 in our Star Wars episode, but I really want you to go check this man out because he is super talented, and I'm kind of in love with him. I don't know what he looks like. I've only listened to his voice.
Well, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, he's straight, he's English, and I know he has at least 2 kids, so, like, there's no hope, but I've fallen for him.
You can be their zaddy.
Oh, I could be that. I could parent some children. So Gopher like the animal. And then I would also love for you to contact me or contact us and let me know what kind of game, or what game specifically, you think I should play next on the Let's Play. I'm not playing the fucking Sims.
Skyrim.
Oh, now see, I love
But you
Skyrim.
already did that.
Yeah, but I can
Well,
play
I
it
didn't
again.
know.
I could play it as a queer character.
did.
Because here's the thing, all my Let's Plays have got to be queer. So if it's a game like fucking Halo or some shit,
Oh, no, fuck that. Nobody
I don't
wants to
do that
watch
because that's not queer enough.
Out of here.
Yeah, get out of here, Halo. But I was thinking of like maybe State of Decay, which is like a zombie apocalypse game, or Fable 3, which is very queer.
Are you gonna get that dog and choose him every time?
Girl, I might do. You know I can't let my dog die.
We'll fill Ashley in on that little tidbit
Oh,
later.
yeah.
But,
Anyway. But yeah, let us know. What should I play?
And we want to know what you want to see because I'm interested, and Mickey's gonna get himself some playthroughs started.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Some
can't
Let's
wait.
Plays.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, Ashley.
You're welcome.
We'll
You're
have
all
you back.
very welcome.
We'll definitely have you back.
I know you will.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening, BBs, and holler at your girls.
Bye.
That was kind of nice.
Do you have a home? Beauty in the bed. You look. Beauty in the bed. Beauty in the bed.